Have you ever wondered if a single signature on a piece of paper could actually be worth the soul of an entire family? Or is it really just the first domino falling in a massive game of psychological warfare? We have all seen Sheila Carter resort to things like bullets and dark basements in the past, but it feels like she has finally found a weapon that is way more lethal: the pure leverage of a mother's desperation. Things in Los Angeles are hitting a major boiling point right now, especially in this latest episode airing on Wednesday, July 8th. It is like all that psychological warfare that has been hiding in the shadows is finally coming out into the light, and man, is it bringing a wave of shattered expectations with it. At the very middle of this whole mess is Taylor Hayes, and honestly, she is completely trapped in this nightmare of blackmail and romantic desperation. 4 days now, Taylor has been living under this terrifying shadow because Sheila Carter is back in town. But let's be real, Sheila didn't just come back to say sorry or clear the air. She came back with a plan that is as calculated as it is malicious. She is basically weaponizing Deacon Sharp's huge desire to finally get a divorce just so she can extort her way back into the Forrester family. When Sheila creeps back into Taylor's office for their big talk, you can practically feel the room turn freezing cold. Deacon is standing right there by Taylor's side like a human shield, but even he can't hide the sheer dread coming off Taylor. And then there's Sheila, walking in with that sickeningly sweet smile and acting like she is totally entitled to whatever she wants. She really thinks her little extortion plot is going to work. If you follow the show, you know what she wants is non-negotiable. She wants a supervised visitation schedule with her son Finn and her grandson Hayes. She has been dangling those unsigned divorce papers over Deacon and Taylor like a guillotine, basically saying they can only have their happily ever after if Taylor manipulates Steffi into this impossible deal. But here's the thing, this episode is showing us that even the most sinister plans can fall apart when they hit the wall of a mother's protective instinct. Sheila actually has the nerve to ask Taylor if she has finished her part of their dark bargain. She is sitting there expecting to hear that Taylor talked to Steffi and smoothed everything over for her big, redemptive return. But instead, Taylor just hits her with a flat-out, unwavering no. Taylor uses every bit of her psychological training and inner strength to just deny Sheila what she wants. She hasn't talked to Steffi about the visits, and she tells Sheila she has zero intention of ever doing it. Well, think about it. Taylor knows exactly what is going on at Forrester Creations right now, and it is pure chaos. She knows Steffi is basically a walking powder keg. I mean, Steffi just got hit with a huge betrayal by Hope Logan, who secretly left and joined Katie's fashion house. Steffi is currently out for blood against the Logans, so Taylor knows that asking for Sheila to see the kids right now would be emotional suicide. It would be like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Taylor stands her ground and tells her tormentor that the request isn't just a big ask, it is literally impossible. She looks Sheila right in the eye and tells her the harsh truth that they both know. Steffi will never, ever let Sheila near her child. By treating Sheila's demands like they are just a delusional fantasy, Taylor is trying to take away all that leverage Sheila thought she had. You could cut the tension in that office with a knife, while Deacon just watches these two women play a high-stakes game of verbal chess with his whole future hanging in the balance. The funny thing is, for Sheila, this rejection is actually a huge moment of clarity. You can see the mask of the misunderstood mother start to slip, and the real predator underneath comes out. Sheila is not the kind of person who gives up when a door gets slammed. She is the kind of person who finds a window to break. She realizes that using Taylor as a pawn was a huge mistake on her part. Taylor's loyalty to her daughter is always going to be stronger than her want for a quiet life with Deacon. So Sheila decides she is done using the back door, and that is where things get really dangerous. She has this chilling thought that if you want something done right in LA, you have to do it yourself. The extortion plot with the divorce papers has officially run its course for her. She is so determined to have a bond with Finn and Hayes that she won't let Taylor be the gatekeeper anymore. So here is my prediction. Sheila is probably going to just sign those papers in the next episode or two. She isn't doing it to be nice. She is doing it because being married to Deacon doesn't help her get what she really wants anymore. Signing those papers lets her cut ties with Deacon so she can focus all her dark, obsessive energy on her real target. Spoilers are already saying that Finn is about to be right in her crosshairs. She is planning to ambush him and bypass all the walls Steffi and Taylor have built up. She wants to plead her case directly to the one person who has actually shown her a tiny bit of empathy before. This ambush is definitely going to test Finn's loyalty to his wife and probably cause a massive fight at the Cliff House. While all this psychological stuff is going down in Taylor's office, there is a totally different, but just as bad battle happening over at Forrester Creations. The fallout from that fight at the beach house has sent shockwaves through the whole family, and Ridge Forrester is officially on the warpath. He just found out that Will Spencer basically snapped and punched his son, RJ, multiple times. For Ridge, this isn't just two guys fighting over a girl. It is an unforgivable attack by a Spencer on a Forrester. Ridge's protective, patriarchal fury is like a force of nature right now, and he is targeting the connection Elektra still has with Will. Elektra is already living a total nightmare. She was already horrified by how Will lied about the fashion secrets, and seeing him attack RJ was the last straw for her. She even threw her necklace at him and walked out. But in their world, a broken heart never gets to heal in peace. It always gets messy with corporate politics. In the Wednesday episode, Ridge corners Elektra and gives her a strict mandate for her future. He really believes Will is not just a liar, but a dangerous and unhinged person who is a threat to her. His hatred for the Spencers, which is even worse now because of the corporate coup Bill and Katie just pulled, is fueling his belief that Will has to be totally gone from their lives. He sits Elektra down and gives her a brutal ultimatum. She has to stay away from Will Spencer permanently. He isn't just suggesting it for her feelings. He is making it a mandatory requirement for her safety and her job. He paints Will as a monster who can't control his violence, using the blood on RJ's face as proof of how toxic the Spencers are. Well, if you think about it, Ridge is basically holding Elektra's career and her spot in the jewelry division hostage. He is demanding that she just cut all emotional ties with the guy she was just in love with. For Elektra, this whole talk is just a masterclass in heartbreak. She is really struggling to process how her reality has just shattered. Her heart is broken by the lies and the violence, but now she has this intense pressure from Ridge, and she feels totally trapped. She is mourning a relationship she really wanted to work while also trying to handle these dictatorial demands from her boss and family patriarch. It really shows how much collateral damage there is in this war between the Forresters and the Spencers. Katie's demand for secrets destroyed Will's relationship, and now Ridge is using the violence that followed to force absolute loyalty. Elektra is just caught in the middle of these two warring sides, and her own feelings are being crushed. She knows Ridge has a point about the danger, but being told to just turn off her emotions on command is an impossible, painful task. As the episode ends, the whole landscape of LA is changing. Taylor's brave choice to say no to Sheila is going to start a dangerous new chain of events. We're going to have a newly focused and liberated Sheila Carter going after an unsuspecting Finn. And Ridge's ultimatum is forcing a heartbroken Elektra into a corner, making sure the wounds from that beach house fight won't be healing anytime soon. The big theme here is the terrible consequences of impossible choices. Whether it is a mother protecting her daughter or a father protecting a son, the things people do in the name of love are turning out to be just as destructive as things done in malice. The Forresters are fighting on so many fronts right now. Steffi is dealing with Hope's betrayal, Eric is dealing with Donna's silence, and Ridge is policing Elektra's heart. The whole company is like a pressure cooker about to explode. And let's talk about Hope Logan's massive move to the new Logan fashion house. It is still sending shockwaves through every part of LA. What started as a business move has turned into a personal crisis that is just tearing families apart. While the media is all over the new Hope by Logan brand, the reality behind the scenes is just broken trust and a lot of resentment. And then there is Brooke Logan, the matriarch of melodrama herself. Instead of actually dealing with the mess her family is in, she has done something that has everyone just staring in disbelief at her audacity. She has officially fled LA. She has checked herself into some exclusive wellness retreat to deal with what she calls Hope's ultimate betrayal. She is surrounded by meditation gardens and spa treatments, trying to heal a wound that she says is the deepest she has ever felt. I mean, can we just take a second to look at the irony here? Brooke Logan, A woman who has spent decades leaving a trail of emotional destruction behind her is hiding in a wellness center because her daughter made a career choice.
It is almost too much to believe.
She is avoiding the reality of the situation and picking a luxury resort over actually trying to understand why Hope did what she did. But even from her spa, she can't totally disconnect. She makes this poignant phone call to check in on the family, but her voice is just full of that self-proclaimed martyr vibe. It feels like the call was less about being worried and more about making sure everyone knows how much she is suffering. She is using the distance to amplify being the victim. Back in the city, everyone is just exhausted by it. Steffi and Finn are at the Cliff House talking about it with this sense of, here we go again. Steffi, who is currently drowning in the PR nightmare Hope left behind, tells Finn about Brooke's retreat. For Steffi, Brooke running away while Forrester Creations is burning in the news is just more Logan theatrics. While Steffi and Finn are stuck doing damage control for Eric's overshadowed collection, Brooke is just getting massages and nursing her ego. And the damage is really sad over at the Forrester mansion. While Brooke is focused on herself, Eric is dealing with real fury at Donna. He put his heart and soul into his big return, only to have it ruined by the surprise Logan show. Finding out Donna knew the whole time and didn't tell him has just shattered his trust. He is livid because he sees it as a betrayal of their marriage and his legacy. It is a huge contrast. Eric is facing a broken marriage and his life's work being compromised, while Brooke is acting like she is the ultimate victim. To really get how delusional Brooke is being, you have to look at what she said before she left. She stood there and told Hope she had never been betrayed this much by anyone. Just think about that for a second. Brooke Logan, whose life is full of scandals and broken vows, looked at her daughter, who just wanted more creative freedom, and called her the ultimate traitor. Instead of staying to listen to Hope, she just walked away and used her silence as a weapon. She left Hope to feel all this unearned guilt. This really gets to the core of why fans are so annoyed. We need to have a real talk about Brooke's audacity. She is acting like this fragile, wounded bird, but anyone who has watched the show for more than a few seasons knows she has built her entire life on chaos and infidelity. Her history of playing the victim while she is the one holding the smoking gun is legendary. Her reaction to Hope is just the peak of her hypocrisy. Let's take a quick walk down memory lane to see what a real betrayal looks like. This is the same Brooke who slept with Deacon Sharp, who was married to her own daughter Bridget at the time. That wasn't some business move. That was a soul-crushing violation of the bond between a mother and daughter. Brooke looked her own daughter in the eye and then helped destroy her marriage, which is how Hope was born. For Brooke to now act like she has the moral high ground because Hope signed a contract is just an insult to anyone who remembers what Bridget went through. And it doesn't stop there. What about how many times she betrayed her sister Katie? How many times has she had affairs with Bill Spencer when he was with Katie? She has always put her own fleeting wants over her sister's happiness. She has broken Katie's heart over and always expected to be forgiven immediately. But the second Katie makes a smart business move to help her own fashion house, Brooke calls her number one enemy and runs to a spa. The double standard is just blinding, and even when it comes to Hope, Brooke has messed up her life before. She even slept with one of Hope's boyfriends once. Hope has spent her whole life dealing with her mother's scandalous choices and having to defend her to everyone else. She has been the collateral damage in her mother's romantic wars for decades. For Brooke to now use the idea of betrayal against the daughter who has put up with so much is just classic narcissistic behavior and psychological projection. So what is really going on? We think the story goes way deeper than just a fight over where Hope works. There is also this huge secret Taylor is keeping. She is actually seriously ill with heart failure, and that is why she really came home. She wants to spend her last moments with her family, but she doesn't want them to worry, so she hasn't told them the truth. She has only told Lee, who promised to help her when the time comes. Steffi is just so happy her mom is back, and she is pushing for her to get back with Ridge, not having any idea what is actually going on. Taylor is hiding her pain and pretending it is just about one of her patients when Finn finds her looking distraught. It is getting harder and harder for her to keep the secret, and the tension between everyone is just building. What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think Ridge is really trying to protect Electra, or is he just using her to get back at Bill Spencer? And is Sheila's new plan to go after Finn directly going to be the thing that finally destroys his marriage with Steffi? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Taylor should tell her family the truth about her heart before things get even worse? Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our deep dives into all this drama. We will be right here covering every single twist and turn as this dangerous war in LA continues to unfold. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Have you ever sat there and wondered if a single signature on a divorce paper could actually be worth the soul of an entire family, or is it really just the first domino falling in a massive game of psychological warfare? We have all seen Sheila Carter resort to things like bullets and dark basements in the past, but it feels like she has finally found a weapon that is way more lethal, the pure leverage of a mother's desperation. Things in Los Angeles are hitting a major boiling point right now, especially in these latest episodes. It is like all that psychological warfare that has been hiding in the shadows is finally coming out into the light, and man, is it bringing a wave of shattered expectations and ruthless ultimatums with it. At the very middle of this whole mess is Taylor Hayes. Honestly, she is completely trapped in this nightmare of blackmail, maternal protection, and romantic desperation. 4 days now, Taylor has been living under this terrifying shadow because Sheila Carter is back in town. But let's be real, the infamous villainess didn't just come back to town to clear the air or say sorry. She came back with a plan that is as calculated as it is malicious. She is basically weaponizing Deacon Sharp's huge desire to finally get a divorce, just so she can extort her way back into the Forrester family's inner circle. When Sheila creeps back into Taylor's office for their big talk, you can practically feel the room turn freezing cold. Deacon is standing right there by Taylor's side like a human shield, but even his